Hi, Amanda and Kaitlyn. It's great to talk to you guys. I wanted to kind of start by letting you tell us your names, your company, and what roles you each play there.
Sure. So we own, Amanda and I own Global Affairs Associates. We're a boutique ESG and sustainability consulting firm based in Houston, Texas. ESG stands for environmental, social, and governance. So we work on the voluntary disclosure side as well as strategy related to sustainability, energy transition, and all of that good stuff. I'm Kaitlyn Allen, and I'm our CEO.
Awesome. And Amanda, what's your role?
Amanda Hsieh, Kaitlyn's business partner. COO is my title, and I think jointly we wear a lot of hats. There's some hats that maybe Kaitlyn wears more frequently, and some other hats that I wear more frequently. But we both wear a lot of hats, and we are very appreciative of all the help, honestly, that Andrea has provided us to help us take off a few hats and delegate them.
That's awesome. I love looking at it that way. So do you remember, now I know it's been a while, but do you remember back to when you found us? How did you find us?
You added me on LinkedIn, and normally I reject stuff like that, but you had gone to my high school. And so I said, oh, she's an academy woman. I'm going to talk to her.
I had forgotten we had St. Agnes in common. Yep. Who knew it would come back to benefit us both so much?
It's handy. Yeah, it's handy. Yeah, and then that's how we got in touch. And then what really drew me in was that the audit, the project management audit on the website. And I did that, and I said, oh my God, we are missing some really big pieces. And from there, of course, we had the call, and I was very sold immediately because I realized very quickly how the what the gaps were. You were very clear on that from the beginning.
So was that something that kind of came up for you throughout that, or had you tried anything else before to tackle some of the challenges?
There were literally holes I hadn't even thought about. And I took your audit and thought, oh, wow. Yeah, I don't think we have this. I think we need this. So it was stuff we hadn't even noticed was a problem. Like it was stuff, you kind of someday we need that, but we needed it now.
Did you find the reason to engage, was there a great importance for you of why you wanted to fix and change the things that you engaged us to work on with you?
I would say the primary driver was this influx of new business. So, really growing from a, 2 to 4 person team, sometimes 5, to having more business than we could handle in that core group, which meant that the need for efficiency and processes was even more important than ever, especially as we started, hiring and bringing on more people to help us implement the work we do.
So how many people are you up to now?
Our team, we have
a dozen.
Yeah, which is a mix of employee contractors, but I think it is about 12 now.
Yeah, it's about a dozen, plus or minus some. I mean, sometimes people are.
Some are more specialized, so they're more part-time than others. But yeah, that's about right.
What about your client? The number of clients you had between now and then? Do you know?
I don't remember exactly where we were when we started with you, because 2020. But I know we're at how many, Amanda? Like 25 now?
I'm sure we doubled it.
Wow.
Yeah.
If not more. And so I want to say what Andrea's helped us with from, one of the first things was getting us, to assess and get on a project management app to the processes she's put in place has really help to free us up. I mean, there's still work to be done to make sure everyone's following everything, blah, blah, blah. But, to get that out of our brains so that we can work on other things too. I think the other thing that's really I appreciate is that we have these weekly meetings with Andrea, and it's an hour where we focus on making our business better.
Yeah.
And it's so easy to get caught up in everything else that needs to be done. I love having that hour with Andrea where we focus on how can we improve this, the business of the business, you know what I mean? Like the operations of it. And I love having that focus, and how I think having some of those things in place has now freed us up to be able to do other things as well. And I think when we had first met Andrea and you and started on that journey, it was, we were just starting to get all these clients and we could see them coming, you know what I mean? Like in the pipeline. And we're like, what if they all say yes?
Yeah. We were like, oh my God, what if all of these people say yes to us?
And it's more than, me and Kaitlyn, and maybe one or two other consultants like working on projects where we have to be able to manage multiple projects at the same time and have, a good communication and not make sure things don't drop in between the cracks. So super helpful there. And then super helpful just getting stuff out of our brains and on paper. So it's repeatable.
The idea of using a software, I was definitely not sold at first. I'm like, do we really need another program? We kind of have Teams. Isn't that the same thing? And I remember you being like, no, that's not the same thing. That is not a project management software. And then once we demoed Teamwork and Basecamp, and we used both of them for a month because we knew we needed to make an investment, we ended up going with Basecamp because it was just so much simpler. It was exactly what we needed. And to visually see all of the different projects that are going on, once we got it all up there, we were like, oh my God, no wonder we were going crazy. Trying to keep all of that in your head or in your Microsoft OneDrive folders. It's like we still use OneDrive, of course, but that was like what we were using, and it wasn't much,
A little
eye-opening, isn't it? Yes, it's eye-opening.
See it that way, and you guys probably sleep better because you're not waking up in the middle of the night thinking about that one thing that you forgot, right?
No, there's always something else. Fortunately, as a small business, I was like, that one goes away, and then another one.
But at least it's not because of something on a project that, it's like, it's other stuff now, but those sort of basic I's are dotted and T's are crossed,
That's awesome. So do you remember the very first thing that we worked on with you and how you felt about it when you first started?
I thought it was no idea. App, but I don't know.
Do you know?
It was probably the Basecamp teamwork tool thing.
Yeah, it probably was, because you were like, you need this.
You need it.
This is a must. This is where you start. Yeah, it probably was.
So throughout the engagement, I know that these weekly meetings that you're having with Andrea are really kind of expanding your brains too of how you can change your business and improve it. What are some of the types of things that we've been able to help you with beyond, setting up a project management tool?
So I think one of the big helps has been helping us really document all of our policies and processes, and just things that, again, Amanda brought it up, and I don't remember if this was from you and Andrea or somewhere else, but someone had told me there's like the quadrant of urgent, important, not urgent, not important. And like the things that they're actually very important, but they're not urgent. And so you just never do them. That's what she helps us with. The things that aren't urgent, but they're so important. And so, like, for example, we didn't have, earlier this year, we didn't have a, what do we call it, Amanda? Disaster emergency type policy. But we live in Texas where we have a disaster every year, basically, really. And of the February one, we were like, oh my God, we should probably have all this written down and have a backup and like, what's our plan? Because that one we just kind of flew by the seat of our pants. And of course, all of Texas was shut down. So it wasn't, it was understandable to everybody.
Right.
But that was one super important thing that we didn't have. And the great thing with Beyond the Chaos, in my opinion, because I've done business coaching before, and business coaches are always like, I'll hold you accountable. And I'm like, I don't need anyone to hold me accountable for anything. I need somebody to help me do it.
Right.
Like, could you just do it and get it done and I'll sign off on it? That's what I need as a busy business owner and executive. I'm not, I don't need motivation and like, I'm going to make sure you do it. No, we just need someone to help us with the time. She has the time to sit and focus on it, bring us a draft and say, okay, here's a draft. Let's work from this. And then we're like, oh, it's just a matter of, it's awesome because it's just a matter of editing and like, maybe we should add this thing, or this is, hurricanes are actually the big deal here, not tornadoes,
And
but there's
not
something to
deep
go
freezes,
on.
right? Deep freezes is also not a
Yeah,
thing.
also strange for Texas, but
What a year.
even power, internet, all of these issues, which
Right.
are now unfortunately very frequent here, we have to have a backup plan. And so that's just one example.
Okay.
I think Kaitlyn brings up something so important, is that your team was able to run and do it. And again, we know kind of what we need to do, but there was never, there's not time in the day, right? And we can't all work like, 60, 80 hours nonstop. We'll all burn out. So we just needed more help, and having someone who had the experience to do that. And now I feel like she's just kind of part of the team and she knows us well enough. Like, you know what I mean? I really enjoy working because I feel like she knows us well enough to help us through that. And I think she brings, really thoughtful comments to it and brings good tools. I remember one of the things when we were deciding, like, what should we start documenting? She's like, well, do you have an organization chart? No, but we probably should. Let's use that, develop that, and use that as our guide.
That's
it.
great.
Yes, ma'am.
So what are the takeaways you would give to someone else who's considering engaging in a service like this?
You need it. Absolutely need it. And like, don't even question it. Just go for it. You're going to be like, oh my God, I can't believe I was running my business without these very important core processes documented. Yeah. That's what I would say. Really. Yeah.
Amanda, you
very,
think
very worth the investment.
Amanda, you think the same thing, or you got something else that you think?
I definitely agree.
Okay.
Do it. But I think the other thing, what I was thinking about is, as we grow and develop our business, I'm looking at, I know we'll never do like, have a business in a box, but, essentially, how can I have everything so well documented and a well developed and like kind of well-oiled machine? As someone asked me recently, do you consider your business a well-oiled machine? I'm like, we're not there yet. We're getting there. We're working towards that, so that we can have a well-oiled machine and kind of a business in the box. And I know that we would not be as far as we are if it wasn't for Beyond the Chaos.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you, ladies, so much. It's been a pleasure working with you, and I'm looking forward to continuing our work together and getting you to your business in a box.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Susan, I'll add one more thing.
Sure.
Which you can like splice in the middle if you want. But something important for people thinking about. We had been considering, we had a budget, of course, that we wanted to reinvest in the business. And it was kind of down to like, do we do marketing first and like new website and good marketing and get some ads going? Or do we do this first? And we really, this was project management consulting was not even on our radar. And we were wanting to do the marketing stuff. But once we had that consultation, it just hit me like a ton of bricks. How we can't market and then get a bunch more clients without having this basic stuff in place. How are we going to service all of them? And so it ended up being a pretty easy decision to do this first and kind of get the bones in place to then be able to go proactively and market our services. So I would just say that too, if you're considering an investment in your business, if you haven't done the, real solid review of all of your processes, making sure everything is documented. If you haven't done that yet, don't scale up yet because you'll go crazy,
Right. I completely agree. And I think it's very smart that you thought of it that way, because I think many business owners just think, get me the business, and then I'll figure it out. Except that if you start failing with your clients, wow, that word of mouth marketing is a lot louder
Yeah.
than any other kind of marketing you can do. So being able
Yep.
to fulfill and succeed is really important in that process. So I think it's really smart that you thought of it that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Awesome.
we're happy with the decision.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.